What's going on, my fellow Jedi and Padawans? Welcome back to another Jedi gaming video. Thank you guys so much for coming back to the channel, and if you guys are new, welcome. Today I want to talk about an SMG that came out with Lightfall and Neomuna, the Synchronic Roulette Strand SMG in our kinetic slot. Now, I know that we also have the Immortal in this slot, but not everybody wants to grind out Trials to get that weapon, and this also has some very good perks on it that makes it very similar, in my opinion, to the Immortal weapon. So before we get into the God Rolls with this weapon here for PvP and PvE, we're going to go over its origin trait as well as where to grab this weapon. Now, it does come from that Neomuna, going through public events, activities. It does have the chance to drop, but specifically when you're going through Terminal Overload and it's in that Lemmings Harbor, when you collect that final chest where you spend the Overload key, you are guaranteed to get one of these weapons, and it rotates based on the different sections it's in. So in that Lemmings Harbor, when you're doing your terminal overloads at the end, that chest you spend the key on will give you one of these. Now, for its origin trait, we have that Nanotach tracer rockets, so upon scoring hits in a succession, we have that automatic shooting of a tracking rocket that matches that stranded damage, dealing a nice little bit of damage to the enemy on top of its normal bit that it does. So we're going to switch it up a little bit with our websites, using D2 Arsenal right here to go over these perks on a non-crafted weapon, so I can show you what these stats look like for the perks that I picked. So to start out, like I said, we're going to be going over PvP, PvE with this weapon, with PvP first. So as you can see how we have this built out, I'm going to have my range masterwork on this to give us that stat of 70 range with 56 stability. So this thing absolutely maps Guardians in my personal opinion, especially how we have this built out. Now, the first perk I'm going to throw on this is Small Bore to give us +7 to stability and +7 to range. Usually what I go with on my weapons for the Crucible, unless they are absolutely maxed out in one of the versions, then I might go with something else like Hammer Forge, which is +10 to range. Now, again, a big staple for the PvP side of this is ricochet rounds and most weapons in general, because we get that increased to stability as well as range with +5 to range, +10 to stability, allowing us to have that absolute juice, as you can see, with +22 overall to range and +17 to the stability. Now, for me, I was wondering what perks to throw in this second column. First off, we're going to go with Under Pressure, improves stability and accuracy as the magazine gets low. You can see it activates once it's below 50% and grants 25 to 50% of increase to accuracy and up to 30 on stability, so we can stack that stability stat all the way up to 86 when Under Pressure is procced. Now, you could also go with something like Keep Away, increased reload range accuracy when no combatants are in close quarters, but this is something more for a pulse rifle, scout rifle, or hand cannon. Doesn't really fit as well inside of the Crucible for an SMG, but it is still a valid option for this column. Now, for me, there's really only one perk here inside of that fourth column for the Crucible, which is Target Lock. Damage increases the longer this weapon remains on a target. That is partially why the Immortal is so good with that rangefinder Target Lock. It absolutely maps people from a distance and does insane damage, so that's why we have this built out very similar. Like I said, the gameplay shows for itself. We went on some mad streaks with this and the Cloud Strike inside of Iron Banner this week, so very viable option instead of the Immortal. And like I said, not everybody is willing to go grind out Trials week after week for this, so definitely go grind out those terminal overloads when they are in Lemmings Harbor specifically, and you will have a great chance at getting a very good roll of this weapon. Now, moving on to the PvE side of things, this thing also shines as a strand weapon. So we're starting out with that masterwork of reload so we can continuously have this thing up and ready to rip. Now, for our barrel for PvE, I'm using the Jack of all trades in corkscrew rifling to give us +5 in all of these in stability, handling, and range, making the stats as you see above with that nice 53 in range, 44 in stability, nice 27 inside of handling, as well as that nice 129 in reload speed. Now to counteract that reload speed a little bit, we're using appended mag, which gives us a nice juicy increase to the magazine here. Think that this is a little bit off at 72 inside of the magazine, but it is very, very close when we have that appended mag in there, and we don't have a negative to our reload or anything like that when we have extended. So definitely going with this appended instead of extended. Next off in the third column, definitely my god roll, is Envious Assassin. So rapidly defeating targets with other weapons before drawing this one transfers ammo to the magazine from the reserve. This effect can overflow the magazine based on the number of targets defeated. So we can have an insane amount of ammo bullets inside of the magazine when Envious is procced. Works well with Forbearance or even with our harsh language with that volatile rounds, getting a bunch of explosions and easy defeats, overflowing this weapon to the max. And lastly, in the fourth column for that Strand Synergy, we're going with Hatchling Precision Final. Blows are rapidly defeating targets with a non-precision weapon. Also spawns threadlings at the target's location. Pairs super well with some of our fragments that we have, giving them extra damage, or something like our Strand Warlock, where we have that threadling army and our Swarmer boots. So a very good option for that Strand Synergy. So hopefully y'all can get grinding those terminal overloads and just Neomuna specifically, those activities, lost sectors, public events, to get yourself a God Roll Synchronic Roulette. Definitely a very good option that is a lot easier to snag than the Immortal inside of Trials, because I know not everybody loves going into Trials. Me, on top of that, I feel the same way, but was lucky enough to get a good one, but have this as a backup as well. So very good weapon, like I said, and easy to get for everyone. So thank you guys again for that support. I truly appreciate it. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.